It's an interesting one, man. So Eternal MMA 64, fighting Rod Costa, kind of a Brazilian stylist, man, for the Eternal MMA featherweight title, which you hold, man. It's a defense. How are
Yep.
you feeling about it, man?
Yeah, I feel good. Feel real good. Like sort of it came about. Like there was a bit of chat about that fight in February, but I wasn't gonna fight in February, and then they said, "Oh, we could do it in March." So I just jumped at it. I said, "Yeah, sweet." Bit of chat back and forth with the UFC and things like that about a potential fight there. And the one thing the UFC always says is they just want to see activity. They want to see activity. So it was like sweet. There was nothing locked in with that. So we just said, sweet, we'll take this fight with Rod, which was the name that they offered.
Yeah, man. So I was listening to an interview. He's talking a bit of smack about you, bro. So what's the feelings there? Is there a bit of a aggro or what?
Yeah, it's a beef completely in Rod's head, that one. Like I've spoken to him once after a fight on Eternal. I walked past and shook his hand and said, "Good fight, mate." And he said, "Yeah, thanks, mate." And that was the only interaction we've ever had. So he's managed to create a little bit of drama in his own head. So good on him for that. But no, I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. I haven't really followed along. I've heard some people said, "Oh, you heard what Rod Costa said?" I said, "No, I don't really give a fuck what Rod Costa has to say, to be honest. No, try
Actually,
and focus on my own thing."
looking at his stuff, he's just upset that you didn't fight him earlier. That's all. Like it was old interviews. So back then he was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
upset that he thought that he thought you should be fighting him. That your reasons that you gave obviously insulted him a bit, like saying his record wasn't very good, etc. And then you should have fought him, and then you chose to fight Jason Petropoulos before. So that was his sort of reasoning behind it. But he's there now, so he's probably happier now because you're not dodging him, you're fighting him. So.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. The idea that I was dodging or whatever is fucking ludicrous, to be honest. Like there was Perth and Perth was shut down. We were shut down. There was no way that fight was happening for a while, and now it's come up and we're on. So see what happens.
Yeah, man, he's got a monster name, Rodrigo Carvalho Coutinho Diniz Costa. Man, it's a mouthful. I don't know if they're going to call his full name out.
Yeah, I'd just
That's
stick with Rod. I'd just stick with Rod Costa if I was the announcer. That's the easiest way to do it.
for sure, man. So comparison of you two guys, you've got a record of 8 wins and 2 losses, a good streak of 5 wins, man. Similar sort of heights. He's got a record of 5 wins and 3 losses. He had 3 and 1 in 2021, so he's pretty active in 2021. Kind of lucky in a way to be so active, right? Considering the year it was, so many places
Yeah,
locked
for
down and
sure,
everything.
for sure.
So,
Yeah, he had a really good year. Like he's looked better. He's looked better as he's gone on with his fights. I think when he moved to scrappy MMA, like training with Ben Vickers, that's helped him a lot. And he's obviously got good guys there in Jack Becker and Jack Dalla and Josh Dalla and those guys. So he's doing the right things to get better. And yeah, it's going to be a good fight. I'm excited for it.
Charles is asking, what's a leg kick TKO paying? I'm kind of in agreement. I had on my little notes here that you've been breaking the legs of opponents lately. So I know that's your thing, bro. So what do you reckon?
Yeah.
Probably doesn't pay
I don't
much.
know.
It's probably the same as a win.
Yeah. See, I don't. Yeah. See, the leg kick sort of come out for me recently because it's been there for me. But I wouldn't even put it in my sort of top 3 or 4 weapons that I'm most accomplished at using. So, yeah, I'll play what's in front of me and see how we go. Watching his stuff, he actually leg kicks pretty well as well. Like the calf kick, he does that pretty well. So I don't think he does it as well as me, but he does throw it. So probably feel each other out early on with that. I'll try and get my hands going. I imagine he'll try and push it to the cage, body lock, inside reap, try and lift up high on my whizzer, and go from there. But yeah, I think I'll be pretty well prepared for his style.
Yeah, man. Hearing his interview before, the guy was implying that he's turning into a bit of a kickboxer now, a bit more of a stand-up guy, which kind of happens, right? Because someone's like good at something already, they usually go to the other side and then they start working on that. They feel happy, especially when they land a couple of shots. Like he had a decent showing against Van Heeden, landed a few like sort of powerful shots. So is he switching to that? I'm not sure. I don't know. You did in that fight.
I imagine he'll be pushing me to the cage and trying to hold me there as soon as he can.
That was kind of strange fight, that Van Heeden one, man. He just seemed like, I don't know if he was suffering from the weight cut or something. He got hurt very easily with the punches. They didn't look like real big
Justin
punches, but
did.
he went down very easy. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it? He
yeah.
did do a quick. It was a quick backup for him. Like the weight cut was a real quick turnaround because he'd only fought a couple of weeks beforehand. Yeah, so but it was also short notice for Rod as well. Rod had also fought that the same time, so it was a quick turnaround for both of them. And Rod was just better. I think Justin's thing usually is that he's a big featherweight and he kind of bullies people and pushes them against the cage. And if he can't do that, he struggles a little bit. And with Rod, I think he was a little afraid of Rod's jiu-jitsu. So he just cancelled Justin's game out by having that high level jiu-jitsu. So that fight went down that way, because
I think it looked like he expected to be superior in the stand-up, but he was getting hit, so didn't do too well for that game.
Yeah, the thing about like you come up against someone who's a jiu-jitsu specialist, right? And I've fought a few people who are that more grappling dominant style. If you underestimate their striking, like even for a second in those 4-ounce gloves, you're one mistake away. Like the difference between how hard a really high level striker hits to put you out and how hard a jiu-jitsu guy hits to put you out, there's not much difference in those 4-ounce gloves. Like, so you just have to respect the way the game works in MMA. You got really high level strikers like Gokhan Saki and people like that who come across to MMA and then they end up getting slept, right? So it's a completely different game. So he'll come out. I imagine he'll throw that counter left hook that he throws a lot. I won't be there when he throws it, and then I'm looking to take it into the end into the later rounds, the 4th or the 5th round, and get a finish there. That would be good.
Yeah, man. He seems like you said, he's got that left hook. He's got a nice overhand. He does throw the calf kicks, like you reckon, like you said before. Looking at him, he does seem a little bit flat-footed. Like if you compare the two of you, he seems a bit flat, and I think you'll have that little edge and explosiveness and speed. And obviously, you're slightly more explosive and aggressive. The way you chain it together. So
yeah. I think like if you look at his fight with Diego, like Diego touches him a lot, but Diego doesn't often like load up on anything. He doesn't hit him hard. And Diego and I both switch stances and move in a similar fashion. But I think the difference is that when I hit hard. And that was evident when I fought Diego that, similar styles and similar stances, but when I hit, I did damage. When he hit, there wasn't as much damage done. So, if he stands in front of me like he stood in front of Diego and eats a few shots, it's going to be a different fight to that one for sure.
Man, that's quite a big card too. Looking at it, one of the ones I'm kind of interested in. I don't know if all the MMA fans are interested in, but I'm kind of interested in watching Rocky Ogden fight, just out of interest, to see how he goes.
Yeah, like the Muay Thai kid. He's fucking really good Thai style fighter by the looks of it. So it'll be interesting to see how it translates across. That'll be pretty cool because John Wayne Parr will probably be in his corner. Hey, so that will be pretty cool.
He's training with Nugget now at NTG, man. So yeah, he's not with them anymore. Yeah, so I don't know if
right.
Nugget will probably be there, but the Nugget's another top.
Yeah, Nugget's another legend. Yeah, I was talking to Nugget. Nugget knows my trainer Andy Colgrave, my Thai trainer, fairly well, and I got introduced to Nugget last time we were up on the Gold Coast, and yeah, he's a legend too. So.
Yeah, I did an interview with him recently. He's a legend, man. I used to follow him a lot back in the day, man, fighting against the first sort of Aussies fighting Thais on big shows, like top level Thais against Australians that didn't have like even probably a tenth of the experience of the Thais and getting smashed in that. But that's how, you guys have learnt on from these guys at the early days of fighters and that, there wasn't anyone else fighting like that. And now, everyone goes to Thailand. Back then, not everyone went to Thailand, right? So it's a whole different world.
Yeah, for sure. It's a completely different world. And that's why like the one thing I try and steer away from whenever I'm talking about MMA or Muay Thai or anything like that is that recency bias. Like it's easy to look at the guys who are there right now and say like, oh, they're the best we've had, or this is the guy or whatever. But like, especially for MMA, you look at the guys that sort of like laid the path for us. Like I know personally for me, like your Dan Kelly's, like Dan Kelly, judo background, comes across to MMA pretty late. 10 UFC fights, but I think it was 7 wins out of 10 or 6 out of 10 wins. Beat Rashad Evans. Like, did so much in the sport, and maybe doesn't get those older guys from that past generation. MMA queens are really fickle and quick to forget, like the things that those guys did that were huge. But I try not to do that. I try and steer away from it. And all those guys in the Thai scene as well, like Nugget and that, the big things. I try and pay them their respects for the work they did before us to be able to put us in a position to learn from them.
That's it, man. That's part of this channel. The reason I did this channel is to talk to a lot of those old guys too. Like we got Nugget on there. We got Dan Kelly. We've talked to a few of the big guys that have started. Even Sam Greco, who's also part of Jimmy Crute's camp, right? Dan Kelly, as well as Sam Greco is a massive name for the early days of K1, but he also fought in obviously full contact karate, but he fought MMA as well. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, Sam did a bit of everything. He's just a body of knowledge. It's good. When you're sparring in the room and Sam's there, like he often comes up to you between rounds and will just give you a little nugget of expertise.